Lesson 4, Practical Latin. Now that we know a little bit of Practical Latin, we will begin each class with a conversation. I will start by saying, Salvete class, and you respond to me, Salve magistra. And as we learn more Practical Latin, we will extend our conversation, and by the end of this course, we will have a very nice dialogue going. So, Salvete class. Why, thank you for the warm welcome. Today, our Practical Latin lesson is the word goodbye. And in Latin, there are two words for goodbye. Vale is the Latin word we use to say goodbye to one person. And valete is the Latin word that we use to say goodbye to more than one person. So, vale means goodbye to one person, and valete means goodbye to more than one person. Why don't you say the Latin words and their meanings with me now? Ready? Vale means goodbye to one person, and valete means goodbye to more than one person. Great! Well, it's not goodbye yet, so let's keep going. Now, before we continue, it's important that we keep up with the information that we've already learned. So let's have a quick review. Let's start with the Latin alphabet. How many letters are in the Latin alphabet? Correct, 25. And what letter is missing from the Latin alphabet? Right, the W. Now, we know that there are two types of letters in the Latin alphabet, vowels and consonants, and we know that there are 5 vowel sounds. So let's say the Latin vowel sounds together now. Ready? A, E, O, U. Great! We also know that there are 3 funny vowel pairs in Latin. And the vowel pairs are called what? Correct, diphthongs. We know that the diphthongs AE and OE have the A as in way sound, and the diphthong AU has the OW as in loud sound. We also know that some of the consonant letters have a little bit different sound in Latin than they do in English. For example, the J always sounds like what? Correct, the Y sound. Let's see, we've also learned one part of speech. We know that action words are called what? Correct, verbs. So, now that we're talking about verbs, let's keep going. In today's lesson, we will be talking about invisible verbs. Now, invisible verbs are still action words. They are just a little bit less obvious. We still use our helpful verb finder sentence to determine if a word is a verb. So that makes it a little bit easier for us. Let's look at some of the words on the bottom of the screen and talk about them and see how they are verbs and why they are invisible verbs. The first word is think. So we plug it into our helpful verb finder sentence. Can I think? And the answer is yes, I can think, and that sentence makes perfect sense. I think every day, and I think you think every day too. So even though I can't necessarily see you think, and you can't necessarily see someone think is a verb. It's just a little bit less obvious. The next word is hope. Can I hope? Well, certainly I can hope, and you hope too. I hope that we have a fun and educational Latin class together. So hope is a verb, and it is an action word, even though you can't always see someone hope. Now the next word is pray. Can I pray? Well, absolutely I can pray, and I do pray every single day, and I bet you do too. So pray is an action word, even though you can't always see someone pray. Now, sometimes you can see someone pray if maybe they have their eyes closed or their hands together, or maybe they're on their knees, But sometimes, just in the course of the day, we say a quick little prayer, and you can't always see someone do that. So pray is an invisible verb. The last word is love. Can I love? Of course I can love. I love lots of people, and I know you do too. So love is a verb, it is an action word, and it's perhaps one of the most important verbs there are out there. Okay, let's keep going. Now, in this week's vocabulary list, we will be talking about invisible verbs. So you can look at the meanings of the words in this week's vocabulary list and see that these are all action words. They all fit in our verb finder sentence, but you can't necessarily see someone love or adore or live or judge or prepare. So pay attention to this week's invisible verbs. Now, there's also something special about all of the Latin words in this week's lesson. So I'm going to give you a second to look at the Latin words and see if you notice anything special about them.